In 1996, in the Naughty Boys dormitory, two lovers were seen communicating with each other. They were Cletus and Shark. Cletus gave a memento to Shark, who was about to be transferred to prison for being caught having strange powers and injuring the residents. Dormitory. Cletus looked very sad when he was picked up by the police. That was the last time Cletus saw his lover. From inside the building, Cletus tried to break out, but he couldn't. In the middle of Shark rampage, a policeman named Balliger is injured by Shark loud screams. The police immediately shot Shark right in the head. Shark then bounced. It turned out that Shark was successfully cured. He was put in a secret prison until now. Moving to the present, Eddie, a journalist, is asked for help by Mulligan, who is now a detective, to interview Cletus, who is currently being detained on charges of serial murder, because it seems that Cletus only knows Eddie and only wants to talk to Eddie. At first Eddie was reluctant, but Venom suddenly came out of Eddie's body about to eat Mulligan. Eddie immediately caught Venom, and it made Mulligan suspicious of Eddie's strange behavior. So that Eddie would not be suspicious, he was forced to be willing to accompany Mulligan to interview Cletus. That same day Eddie met Cletus in court. Cletus seemed very happy to communicate with Eddie. Cletus also knows traces of Eddie's past. Instead of telling his life story, Cletus even asks Eddie to write a poem about a marriage. Eddie was annoyed. Then he asked about the victims of the massacre that Cletus did before, but Cletus refused to tell him. Before leaving, Eddie had time to see the strange drawings that Cletus had made in his room. Outside the prison, Mulligan asks what information Eddie got. Eddie then replies that inside, Cletus only gave him an obscure poem. Cletus refuses to open his mouth. This makes Mulligan annoyed that Eddie didn't get any information. Eddie then went home. Inside the house, Venom moved Eddie's body. Venom described what he saw in Cletus' room just now. Venom has an extraordinary memory. With his analysis, Venom managed to find the location where the victims of Cletus' victims were buried. Instantly, the police finally managed to reveal the graves of the victims of Cletus, thanks to the information provided by Eddie in his article. This made Eddie instantly become the most popular journalist. It irritated Mulligan because he thought Eddie was playing him. As a result of Eddie's article revealing Cletus' crime, the police decided to sentence Cletus to death. Cletus was furious. He didn't expect Eddie to know. That night in his room, Venom, who has helped Eddie return to popularity, invites Eddie to go out and find bad people to eat him because Venom is hungry and needs human brain intake. Eddie refuses, and he says it is better if Venom eats the live chicken he has provided. Venom then rages and refuses to eat the chickens because Venom already considers them like brothers. Eddie is confused. He understands that Venom needs human brain intake so that he can survive. Eddie refuses to eat human brains again because he is afraid of being caught by the FBI. Because Venom keeps bothering him, Eddie is forced to obey Venom's wishes. They went to Mrs. Chen's shop to buy chocolate, but it turned out that Venom had run out of chocolate stock in the shop. Eddie then invited Venom to go to the chicken coop. At first Venom refused to eat chicken, but because there was no other choice, Venom wanted to. After that, Venom also felt nauseous from eating chicken continuously. When he was about to go home, Venom saw a woman who was being snatched. When he saw that, Venom immediately went down and beat the criminals. When Venom was about to eat the villain, Eddie with all his might prevented Venom from doing so. Venom melts and throws the villain. Moments later, Eddie gets a call from Anne, to a surprise, and invites Eddie to dinner. Eddie, who still loves Anne, was happy and thought maybe Anne wanted to take him back. The next day, Eddie and Venom excitedly met Anne at a restaurant because they had not seen her for a long time. Eddie felt awkward sitting near Anne. Eddie then asked why and suddenly called him and asked to meet. Anne tells that she is currently engaged to her boyfriend Louis. Eddie and Venom are surprised. Venom, who likes Anne, is disappointed that Anne is finally engaged to her boyfriend. Eddie, who is also disappointed, trying to hide his feelings, but he can't. It even made Eddie want to cry. The very sad Eddie immediately said goodbye to leave. On the street, when it was raining heavily, Eddie, who was broken-hearted, rode his motorbike very fast. Several times Eddie was about to hit the vehicle in front of him. Lucky Venom managed to prevent it. Venom apologizes to Eddie, even though Venom can heal the physical wounds on Eddie's body, but he can't heal the wounds in Eddie's heart. The next morning, Venom tries to make Eddie happy again by cooking food for him. When Eddie checks the letter in his post box, he finds a letter sent by Cletus. In that letter, Cletus blames Eddie, because Eddie is responsible for the death sentence he received. In the letter, Cletus tells that this is the end of his journey. From a young age, Cletus, who was constantly tortured by his family, made him a psychopath. In the past, little Cletus had pushed his grandmother to death and killed his mother by electrocuting her in the bathroom. Cletus, who was constantly beaten by his father, was finally sent to a naughty boys' dorm. When he got there, Cletus became bullied by the residents of the dormitory. Luckily came a woman who Shark, with the power of the voice that came out of his mouth, hurt people who tried to hurt Cletus. Since then, Cletus really loves Shark. The contents of the letter made Eddie have to meet with Cletus to clarify. Eddie immediately rushed to meet Cletus in the prison once again. Arriving there, Cletus is very happy to meet Eddie again. Here Cletus mentions that they have something in common. Cletus knows Eddie's dark past and is always bullied just like himself. That's what makes Cletus only want to be interviewed by Eddie. Eddie refuses to be equated with Cletus because he's not that bad. Then surprisingly, Cletus reveals that he wants to make Eddie suffer for the rest of his life. He wants Eddie to be a lonely person like himself because according to Cletus, Eddie is trash. This makes Venom angry and his tentacles come out to attack Cletus. Cletus then bites Eddie's hand. Luckily the prison warden can stop them. When Eddie got out of prison, Cletus felt a strange thing from the blood dripping from Eddie's hand. Cletus ate it. Arriving at home, Eddie is annoyed with Venom's behavior that can't be controlled. Eddie is annoyed with Venom, who always manages him. Eddie feels that Venom is the source of the chaos he has experienced so far. Venom, who did not accept them, came out and said that if without him, Eddie would have died because Venom gave Eddie enormous power. However, an annoyed Eddie says that Venom is the trash of society that was thrown away by his planet for being the weakest symbiote. Unexpectedly, Eddie's words made Venom angry. They both had a fight. Venom, who was emotional, destroyed Eddie's furniture. Venom even threw Eddie's television out of the building. Eddie told Venom to leave while setting off a very loud sound alarm. Venom spun out of Eddie's body into the street. Venom entered the body of the homeless and destroyed Eddie's favorite motorcycle.
Oh yeah!
Venom then moved into the body of a rider and bid farewell to Eddie. In prison, when Cletus was about to be sentenced to death, suddenly something strange happened. Unexpectedly, from inside his body came out a red symbiote. Cletus went berserk and killed those around him. While walking out, Cletus massacred the cops who got in his way. Cletus also sucked the brains out of one of the guards. Cletus then spins and creates a whirlwind. He sucks in one of the guards and eats his head. After successfully trying to escape, Cletus transforms into his true form. In the morning, Eddie fixes his house, which was damaged by his fight with Venom last night. Eddie also threw away 2 of Venom's pet chickens. While watching television, Eddie was surprised to see news that said that Cletus managed to escape from prison by transforming into a monster figure. At that time, there was also a knock on Eddie's door. After opening, it turned out to be Detective Mulligan. Mulligan thought that Eddie was involved with Cletus' actions yesterday, but apparently Eddie didn't know anything. After Mulligan leaves, a frantic Eddie tries to find clues about Cletus but fails. Eddie wasn't as good as Venom at analyzing things. Elsewhere, Venom, who transmigrates because his host's body is too weak, enters a mask center. Their Venom gets praised by everyone because his costume is so real. Meanwhile, on the street, Cletus, who had finished eating human brains, then stole a car and drove off. While driving, Cletus chatted with the symbiote inside his body. Cletus named the symbiote Carnage. Carnage invited Cletus to kill Venom, who created him, so that they both become the only strongest symbiote on Earth. Cletus is also willing to help Carnage on the condition that Carnage must help him free someone. Elsewhere, Eddie sneaks into the bad boys' dorm complex where Cletus and Shark used to be held. There, Eddie saw a tree engraved with CS and SB. Maybe this could be a clue. Eddie then told Mulligan about his discovery. Mulligan immediately knew that the one with the initial CS was Cletus and SB was Cletus' lover Shark. But Mulligan is confused because he shot Shark right in the head. According to Mulligan, Shark couldn't have survived. On the street, Cletus hacks into a shopkeeper's computer with the help of Carnage. Cletus realizes that Shark is still alive and he is being held in a special prison for superhuman strength. Inside the special prison, one of the guards checks Shark's condition. It turns out that Cletus is already there. Cletus kills the guard and helps Shark escape from the prison. After making it out, Cletus drives a car and they avoid the police chase. Carnage then appears and destroys the police cars that were there. Then came the police helicopter from above. Shark let out a very loud scream to block the police helicopter, but it turned out that the sound also made Carnage in pain. An angry Carnage threatened to kill Shark if Shark did it one more time. They finally managed to escape from the police. Elsewhere, Venom came to see Mrs. Chen. Venom, who is now in someone's body, feels hungry because the body he is currently entering is very weak. Mrs. Chen hugged Venom out of pity. In the special prison, Mulligan, who was checking the place, was surprised to see that the prisoner who managed to escape turned out to be Shark, Cletus' lover, whom he had shot. Mulligan also ordered his men to arrest Eddie for questioning. Inside the police station, Mulligan interrogates Eddie. Mulligan suspects Eddie of all this because Eddie's track record is surrounded by murder events and Eddie is suspiciously safe. Mulligan asks if Eddie knows that Cletus can now turn into a monster. Eddie, who hears it, is surprised and remembers when Cletus bit and swallowed his blood. After a while, it must have caused the symbiote of Venom fragments to enter Cletus' body. Eddie then refused to give any information to Mulligan because Eddie wanted him to be accompanied by a lawyer. Moments later, Anne was escorted to her boyfriend Den Lewis, who came to meet Eddie, inside the Anne police office, where a lawyer was confused as to why Eddie was detained. Eddie then explains that he can't tell the police about the symbiote that is now inside Cletus' body that can turn him into a monster. Eddie also tells Anne that at this time he and Venom are no longer together due to the fight they had previously. Eddie asks Anne for help to find Venom because only Venom can handle all this. Anne then rushes to find Venom. She goes to Mrs. Chen and asks if Mrs. Chen has seen Venom lately. Anne tells Mrs. Chen that Cletus has symbiotes in him and only Venom can help them. Suddenly, Mrs. Chen acted strangely. It turned out that Venom was inside Mrs. Chen's body. Venom refused to come back to see Eddie, because Eddie had kicked him out. Not desperate, Venom seduces Venom by mentioning that Venom is the most powerful and sexy creature in this universe. Venom, who was devastated, was finally willing to meet Eddie. After burning down the bad boys' dormitory, Cletus reveals his intention to marry Shark. Carnage then comes out and intends to kill their enemy Venom, Eddie, the Mulligan cop who had shot Shark in the head as a wedding gift. Inside the police station, Anne turns into Venom to help Eddie escape. When they arrive in a narrow alley, Anne asks Venom to go back into Eddie's body, but Venom refuses. Venom wants Eddie to apologize for kicking him out. Eddie was forced to apologize, but Venom still doesn't want to come out because he wants Eddie to apologize sincerely. Eddie also whined apologetically and said that he was a weak human who could not do anything without Venom. When Venom came out of Anne's body and back into Eddie's body, Eddie then ordered Anne and her lover to flee out of town with fire and sound sources just in case.
God, sorry!
On the street, Cletus manages to catch police Mulligan. Meanwhile, inside Eddie's apartment, Shark finds Eddie's engagement ring that he had given to Anne. Shark also finds a photo of him there. Shark suddenly had an idea, and sure enough, Shark came to Anne's house. Shark finds Dan and arrests Anne. Shark tells Anne to tell Eddie that they are currently holding Anne in the city's cathedral. Eddie, who is confused looking for Cletus, suddenly gets a call from Den. Den tells Eddie that Cletus and his gang caught Anne in the city's cathedral. They ordered Eddie to save her. Eddie rushed off. Inside the cathedral, Cletus and Shark got ready to run the wedding reception while holding Mulligan and Anne as witnesses. Just as Cletus and Shark are about to tie the knot from behind, Venom appears furious to save Anne. Cletus then transforms into Carnage and intends to destroy Venom, who has created him. After seeing Carnage, who has a size larger than him, Venom is scared and goes back to hiding inside Eddie's body. Eddie, who is also afraid, forces Venom to come out, but Venom doesn't want to because his enemy red and too strong. Eddie then says if Venom is willing to help him, then Venom is free to eat the villain's head as he pleases. Venom agrees and reappears. Carnage also comes out of Cletus's body. When Carnage is about to attack Venom, Shark lets out his super scream to attack Venom. It turns out that it also hurts Carnage. An enraged Carnage immediately knocks Shark off the ground. This made Cletus react. Carnage and Venom continued their fight. Carnage, who has a larger body size, managed to make Venom difficult. Carnage then lets Shark kill her enemy, Police Detective Mulligan, but on the condition that she must not disturb the sound. Seeing Mulligan about to run away, Shark chases after him. Carnage then eats the priest's head to increase his strength. On the top of the building, Shark managed to catch and stab Mulligan. Inside the cathedral, when Venom was being pushed from above, Den came to help burn Carnage. It managed to make Carnage hurt. After that, Den tried to run away, but he was caught by an emotional Carnage. When Carnage was about to eat Den's head, Venom came to save him. Their actions caused the cathedral bells to ring, sending Carnage and Venom into their respective hosts. Eddie and Cletus fight again. Annoyed, Carnage pulls the bell bat and continues his fight with Venom. Seeing Eddie, who is already helpless, Cletus then hit Eddie's leg until Eddie couldn't move anymore. Above, Shark hung Mulligan's head with chains and then kicked him. While under, Cletus transforms into Carnage and takes Anne from the box. Then Carnage brings Anne to the top of the tower. Apparently above, Carnage also plans to kill Shark because it is too noisy. Cletus, who is in it, rebels and tells Carnage to stop this action, but Carnage can't be controlled. Behind the ruins, Venom saw Carnage and Cletus, who were not in symbiosis, they were instead fighting each other. Seeing that, Venom and Eddie realized that they could beat Carnage because Venom and Eddie were the most compact symbiosis and helped each other. Venom was excited again and managed to escape from the concrete pile. With the rest of his strength, Venom climbs the cathedral tower pole while carrying an iron rod. When he reaches the top, Venom jumps and attacks Carnage. Venom then grabs Anne and manages to save her, but from behind, Carnage continues to stab Venom's body with his tentacles. Venom can't fight because on one hand he holds Anne so as not to fall. Venom just resigned himself to Carnage's attack while slowly bringing Anne down safely. After Anne was saved, Venom tried to get back up. When Venom was helpless, Venom saw Shark beside him. Venom also had an idea and immediately hit Shark until he was thrown. It made Shark very angry and made a very loud sound. Shark's voice managed to destroy the building and made the symbiotes in pain. Shark fell and was hit by a giant bell. Elsewhere, Venom was thrown in and out of Anne's body and then back into Eddie's body. Meanwhile, Carnage and Cletus finally separated before Carnage grabbed Cletus' body. Venom managed to catch and eat him. Eddie kept his promise by letting Venom eat Cletus' head. A few moments later, the police came to surround the place. Eddie then said goodbye to Anne. He would flee to a far place because now Eddie is a fugitive from the police. Venom also appears and thanks Anne for saving him. Venom finally gets to like Den. Venom tells Den to take care of Anne while they are away on the building, and it turns out that Mulligan is still alive and only emitting a strange light. Long story short, after a few days passed, Eddie took Venom on vacation to the Hawaiian beach. Here Eddie reveals that he wants to take Venom to a bigger city where Venom can eat the criminals he wants. That night, when Eddie was resting in the inn room watching, suddenly something strange happened. The place around him started to shake and was sucked into another dimension. The space they were in instantly changed and Venom was confused about what had just happened. On television, Eddie sees a television broadcast reporting that a criminal named Peter Parker has superpowers to become a Spider-Man and terrorizes all the townspeople. Hearing this, Venom reacts and wants to eat Peter Parker. Then the movie is over.